Okay, the next handout deals with looking at what's called a single line graph comprehension. Some of you may find this easy, or you may find it just as a good review. So in our graph we have the dates down here in January, the 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, 20th, 24th, and 28th of January. And then along the vertical column we have the number of dollars collected. So keep that in mind. This is dollars collected. Okay? So that's important to know what your axes stand for, your vertical one and your horizontal one going through here. So my first question says, how many quarters were collected? Well, that's interesting. So it's quarters here, but this is in dollars. So we have to make a little side note here. $1 is equal to 4 quarters. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind when you do your calculations. Again, $1 is worth 4 quarters. So the first question is, how many quarters were collected on January 20th? So I go over to January 20th, go up to my spot, and it says $8. And that means I need to times that by 4. And that gives me 32 quarters. Again, why am I timesing by 4? Because there's 4 quarters for every dollar. And then on January 16th, I find the 16th, I go up to my graph, there's my dot, and I go over, and it was $6 collected. So then 6 times 4, that gives me 24, and now I just add those up because it says how many total were collected. And that's going to be 56. Okay, final answer, 56. And Q for quarters. Make sure we have that down there as well. Alright, next question. How many more quarters were collected on January 20th than on January 28th? So let's go to January 20th. I have $8. 8 times 4 equals 32 quarters on that particular day. Then on the 28th, $1 times 4 gives me 4 quarters. So how many more were collected? That's just going to be 32 minus 4, and that gives you 28. So 28 quarters were collected, more collected. Let's see, how many quarters were collected on January 28th, 8th, and 12th? So I got 3 dates to take care of. So January 28th, we already did that one, so that was 4 quarters. 1 times 4, 4, plus, on the 8th, I'm going to go up to my graph, $7, so 7 times 4, that would be 28 quarters. And on the 12th, I find the 12th, go up to my dot and take it over, 4 quarters. That's 4 times 4, that gives me 16. So we're going to add all 3 of those scores up, and we will get, looks like it's going to be 48 quarters total. Okay, again, 48. Alright, next question. So again, hopefully this is easy for you. On February 8th, so now this is going off my chart. February, twice as many quarters were collected than from January 8th. And the question is, how many quarters were collected on February 8th? Well, January 8th I had, let's figure this one out. The 8th I collected $7. Times that by 4, I collected 28 quarters on that particular day. So February 8th said twice the number of quarters were collected on this day than January 8th. So now 28 quarters times 2, because that's twice as many, would give me a little scratch work here on the side, 56. So 56 quarters. And the last question, were more quarters collected on January 4th or January 16th? So now we're comparing 2 of them. So going to my graph, January 4th is here and January 16th is here. So which one goes up higher? Oh, definitely the January 16th. So finish that off. And there we go, January 16th for my final answer. Okay, so that was the single line graph comprehension. Next up will be the double line graph comprehension.